Welcome to a special RadioRadioX music video interview. I am your host, Justin Smulison, proud contributor from New York, and I am delighted to present a dialogue with this man right here, Mr. Joe Flynt. He is the creative driving force behind Kissing Kaos, a brand new group of his that was born out of Georgia. And their new album is called To Your Limit. It is available worldwide from our friends at Mighty Music. It'll be available May 1st worldwide, and that's also Bandcamp Friday. So if you're looking to spend a few bucks, that's the perfect way to do it. You are hearing a clip of one of the lead singles, Chaos Inside, and we're going to talk all about that. Now, I knew Joe from a few years back when he was fronting a group called Asphalt Valentine, and Kissing Kaos is a little bit heavier. So if you're into melodic hard rock with a dash of metal thrown in there, you're going to love this record. It's also worth mentioning that Joe is joined in this group by this man right here, Mr. Chris Taylor of Kickin Valentina, another fantastic hard rock group out of Georgia and the U.S. So there's so much to discuss. I'm so excited to speak with Joe. I think he's a fantastic singer, and we're going to have a lot of fun. RadioRadioX audiences worldwide, please welcome from Kissing Kaos, Joe Flynt. All right, I am joined by Joe Flynt of Kissing Kaos. He is the man controlling the chaos. How are you there, Joe?
I'm doing awesome, Justin. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing, man. You and I go way, way back to roughly 2020, I think is when we met. And you were with Asphalt Valentine. And I just want to say, I loved Asphalt Valentine. That's how we met. Twisted Road was an excellent album. And
thank you.
Yeah, and then you're quite welcome. And I saw that you were going through some changes, and you came back on one of my favorite labels, Mighty Music. And now you've got To Your Limit. How you feeling about it?
I feel great. I mean, this was an album that I really got to take my time with. You know, when I left Asphalt Valentine, I think I made that announcement back in like 2021 or 2022, right?
Yeah.
So really, I've been working on this record for 2 or 3 years. So I've really gotten to take my time with it. Really go the full producer route with our producer Andy, and I think it turned out great. I mean, the feedback that we're getting so far from the reviews is awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, it is a straight ahead rock and roll record. Maybe even a little bit heavier than Asphalt Valentine's latter work.
Yeah.
You're singing. I want to say that you're not going as high as you used to go. You're in a slightly lower register. Still pretty high though.
Yeah, that also comes with age. I would like to hit those high notes. I still work on that. I try to do vocal exercises daily to try to at least maintain that. So if I need to hit it tonight, but yeah, I felt I think our producer Andy wanted to go with more of a modern tone for the whole record anyway. So it kind of came out that way.
Yeah. Now, it's worth mentioning for anybody especially anybody who's down near your area in Georgia, you may recognize this guy. That's Chris Taylor. He's from another group. What group's he with?
He is with Kickin Valentina.
Kickin Valentina. You're friends with them. You know them.
Yes, I know them. And as a matter of fact, I had filled some shows in for him way back when in 2017, I think it was, when their former singer, also named is Joe, had left the band, and they needed they had some dates.
Yeah.
You know what many? It was like 4 or 5 or something, and I just jumped in and filled out for them. But yeah, I've known those guys forever because I knew Chris from even before. He was in a band called Rock and Cerulean, and we used to play together shows here in Atlanta. So yeah, we have a long history.
That's great. Yeah, and so there was from what I remember. Because I've interviewed Kickin Valentina a couple times. Chris might have been my first interview. From what I remember, they said, if he wanted the job, he could have had it, and then you had Asphalt Valentine going on. But so Chris is with you here in Kissing Kaos. He was sort of the bridge to get you to Mighty Music.
Yeah, he really was. the thing that came about with Chris is I had already had 3 songs for this record done, and we were going to go ahead and shoot music videos. We had no label or anything like that. I really didn't know how I was going to release the music. I kind of thought I would just do a single here, a single there. I really wasn't planning on doing an album. But, when Chris came in, we needed a bass player for the video. So like, yeah, I'll do it. And we decided he really liked the tunes. And we just started talking and said, if you want, this is your side gig, because he's still very heavily involved in Kickin Valentina. I was like, sure. Problem. We can figure out all the logistics out of that. So, after that, he kind of stepped in and helped with some of the writing, and we finished the record from there.
Excellent. Now, my question is, because Kickin Valentina is also from Georgia, when will there be the Kickin and Kissing tour?
I think for now, like I said, I'm friends with all those guys.
Right.
Logistically, it would make sense, but I think for now, just because we're on the same label, we're trying to split the business.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? For now, I think we'll just kind of keep everything, as separate as we can. So just talk of, but it could happen. So
it could.
I will never rule that out.
Good. Because I would think logistically it would make sense. That's one less mouth you have to feed on the tour, right? You got one guy doing double.
Exactly. Yeah. And Kickin Valentina plays so much over in Europe that that'd be one less plane ticket.
Yeah.
And I love those guys. I love Heber and Jimmy. We all get along. And as a matter of fact, I just hosted them in my home for about 3 weeks while they were recording their new record. So, so I let them use my studio while they had a producer come in. And so, yeah, we have a great relationship.
Did they trash the Flynt house?
They did not trash the Flynt house.
I was expecting you to say that they did. Yes.
Very well maintained. Yes. No parties, no strippers, no drugs.
Yeah, because you got somebody who looks sort of similar to Mick Mars in his heyday right there, and I'd be a little wary of him, but he was a gentleman.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Excellent. Now it's worth mentioning that in Kissing Kaos, you are joined by your partner in crime from Asphalt Valentine, Brian Young or Jung.
Yes.
He's your drummer.
Yes, he is the drummer. Yeah, he has been with me the whole time. So, like I said, when I was thinking about leaving Asphalt Valentine, I started writing some songs that, a couple I brought to, band practice, and they just never came out the way that I was looking for. And I had been in Asphalt Valentine since 2003. So,
okay.
It was a long time. And
yeah, that is a long time.
I never really branched out to do anything else. And I said, after Twisted Road and COVID and everything, I said, I'm just going to take a break and just write music. And he wanted to come with me because he heard all the songs that I was doing. So,
right.
And he's awesome. He's just really got this positive attitude, and he's ready to go. So
there you go.
No brainer for me.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So let's talk about a couple of songs. Well, the overall theme that I take away from this album is there is a sense of, I want to say, rebelliousness and then rebirth. That's what I'm taking from it. You got to get rid of you got to tear down everything else that you built so that you could build it back up. Am I in the ballpark there?
You are definitely in the ballpark. And again, it goes with me leaving Asphalt after 20 something years. Bringing through something completely new for me, going outside of my comfort zone, writing in a manner that I've always written with a band, a full band.
Oh, okay.
And this was more of a songwriter and producer kind of thing until, Chris came in and brought some ideas and some riffs and stuff. So,
right.
But it was really a completely different method. So I kind of felt it was a rebirth. And now that I hear the final product, and, I think we can keep this train rolling.
Excellent. Now, it's also worth mentioning, I believe this is correct, you play guitar too.
I do, yeah.
So you're coming in with songs, I'm guessing probably maybe they're acoustic at the time and you know that you're going to amp them up later?
Yeah, generally, I I do start mostly writing on the acoustic guitar, because a lot of times I'm out on my back deck,
Yeah.
have a beer or something. I'm just noodling around, and I'm not really looking to write a song. I don't really sit down and say, today I'm writing a song, right?
Right.
I'm just
Most people don't.
Yeah, I just noodle around, and then when I find something that I like, I bring my recorder, and video, so that I remember what I'm doing. Because if I don't, it's right out the window. Or if I have a melody pop into my head, I get my voice recorder out and I start singing that melody. But then I'll bring it into the studio and I'll start playing on the electric guitar and then start adding guitar melodies and things like that.
Yeah, because I imagine that was the scenario behind a song like Breakthrough, which starts out, that's one of the few that starts out a little bit calmer and then takes off. Yeah.
That definitely started out acoustic. And I wasn't sure the direction that was going to go. When I started writing it, I felt that it was going to be more acoustic style, but then, once you start working with a producer, it kind of changes. So it kind of kept a ballady feel, but I kind of wanted more of an anthem type of song. So
yeah,
I think we got
it does sound like, and I mean this as a compliment, it sounds like the kind of song I would have grown up with. And we're roughly similar age. It does sound like that kind of like power rock sort of song. Not a ballad. It's not a power ballad, but it's got that song where you're singing to yourself and just trying to motivate your own self right there.
Well, listen, we're roughly the same age, and later 40s, and I can't get out of me what I grew up with, and I don't want to. We have all of these influences to understand. As you mentioned, this album sounds a little bit heavier than the previous stuff I did. And that's definitely the case for this. But I feel like we have a lot of influences from older generations up to the newer, more melodic generations that are coming out of Europe. So I thought it was a pretty cool blend.
Yeah, I think so too. And you got tell us about the title track, To Your Limit.
So that was the very last song that I did, fourth record, and I felt that it really brought the whole concept of the album together. Like you say, the tear it down just to bring it back up. How far are we going to bring it back up? Well, it's going to be to your limit, right? And we're going to push it as far as we can go. So that's why I've got that main line in there. I've got the pedal to the metal, here we go. Yeah. So that's what I was planning for.
When I listen to a lot of the music that I do interviews for, usually I have to meditate on it in my own way. In your case, though, in Kissing Kaos's case, I took it out for a lot of runs, like while I was running.
Okay.
You look like you might be a cyclist based on that trip.
No, I'm a runner. I run about anywhere from 6 to 8 miles a day.
Oh wow, okay, that's why you're so lean. So but these are the sorts of songs that I want to hear for that extra motivational kick, if you know what I mean. So I'm your prime audience for that. Have you gotten any other feedback that kind of is like out of left field? Like, oh man, I was relaxing in the tub and listening to it or something like that.
No, I definitely have not gotten that. But I do get the feeling that people do understand that this is overall supposed to be uplifting, even though it doesn't always come out that way. But I always have that message because that's kind of where I come from, is that, everything in the end is going to be all right, no matter what you're going through. Like, so for instance, the song Chaos Inside, which was the first single that we released, you can definitely tell there's some like inner fighting going on. But, at the end, it's just let it go and you're going to be good. So I hope that it does motivate people. I hope that it, energizes them to get up and do the things that make them feel good.
Excellent. Let's talk about that one for a minute, because that one showcases John Landsberg on guitar, and because that one starts off with not a solo, but with the riff. right?
Yes.
Or with the lick. I can't remember which is which. But that one stands out because it's not like
Yeah.
no, it just goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like? He's a good guitar player. Is that him doing that?
Yeah. So basically the way that I wrote, I did all the demo guitar tracking. So most of what you hear is basically what I wrote, with aside from like some additional melodies that that Andy would have had him put in, or some maybe breaks in the song that I didn't originally write in there. But for the most part, that riff is how I wrote it.
Yeah.
Or Andy would, he did some cool things with this that we never did in the past, where he did, I think John played some stuff on 7 strings, so it does get that heavier vibe.
Oh, wow.
But John he's an amazing guitar player. He's an amazing musician. That he's in like 5 different bands. So
I was gonna ask, did you know him before, or did you get paired with him later?
No, I didn't know him at all. He was a suggestion from our producer, Andy. He just said, "Hey, I got you a guitar player who can just come in here." So I never actually worked with John on anything. He was always just went to the studio. So he was more of a studio musician, if you will, at this point. So, you know, we'll see how everything works out.
Right.
But he's, like I said, he's in so many different bands right now, and we're looking for some commitment so that we can actually go out and play and build our fan base up a little bit more.
Well, let's talk about that. What's the vibe? Well, did Asphalt Valentine have a strong local following in Georgia?
We did for quite some time. I think even there towards the end, we still have a pretty good following. It was just tough. We didn't play Atlanta very much. I think that last year, maybe a couple times, we probably hit the road a bit more. But I would say if we ever did a reunion, it would have a good turnout. But
Right.
I never asked the news guys to stop doing what they're doing. I'm like, you can totally find another singer and continue on, but no hard feelings with me. I really hope that you do, because I got my thing going on. So I'm the one that left.
So in that case, though, I guess what I was also wondering about is, are you going to be able to bring some of the old fans over into Kissing Kaos if you would start touring?
Absolutely, yeah. Because they've already been they've been harassing me for years now. Like, when are you putting your stuff out? So we got a lot of the old fan base from them, and then plus with having Chris in the band, we've got a built-in Kickin Valentina fan base that they like our stuff too. And I think we're bringing on some other guitar players that kind of will have their own little fan base going on. So I think when we do our initial show here in Atlanta, it should be pretty packed.
Okay, great. So is there anything confirmed, or is it just you got ideas?
No, just ideas. Our original hope was to do a CD release right towards the album drop, but like I said, it's been very difficult, getting any kind of full band practice in.
Yeah.
Not only is John in so many different bands, but he also lives like an hour and a half away.
Oh, okay.
So we actually had to turn down shows this year until we're like, look, until we can all play and perform a full practice, we're not playing out, because I don't want to go out there and sound like shit. So,
right. Yeah.
So when we go out, I want it to sound as close to the record as possible. So so we're gonna take our time with it, just like we did with the record. I think for next year we've got some things that I'm not sure I can say, right now, but pretty much confirmed. So we're excited about that.
Okay, well, when the time is right, we'll do a follow-up. That's all good. And so Joe, what's your? Well, you I think you mentioned earlier you do still do vocal warm-ups. What's your approach? Because do you just belt it out, or do you have to have some sort of strategy now as you approach the 50-yard line?
Yeah. So the one new things that I'm starting to do is I used to belt it out just to try to get my range higher. But what I'm doing more is more breathing exercise. So I've got these breathing tools where I inhale and blow through a breathing tool to try to get my chest up. Plus, I sing through a straw. That's a big thing for me to try to get my vocal folds to really work. Try to do more humming and tongue frills and things like that. And then I can start working on those, scales. It's not fun, scales are never fun, but you got to mix it up and, and then I'll work on the songs. So
nice. Okay, good. Because every singer approaches it differently, And yes. I've heard some who are, roughly our age, maybe a little bit older, who go, "Oh man, I wish I would make the time to do it more." But you seem to be taking it very seriously, which I can certainly appreciate.
I think we need to. I think as good as this album sounds production-wise, it would be a shame to go out there and not sound as good as you can sound.
Right.
I foresee in the future having to do, 4 or 5 shows in a row, and you can't do that without being, prepared.
Right. Now, when you play live, in your prior group or now, are you going to be playing guitar and singing, or are you just going to be singing?
No, I'll just be saying, we did tour around with the idea because we were having trouble deciding what we were going to do. We do have some keyboards going on in the songs. It's like, are we gonna play the track so that we have the keyboards going on? And we decided no, we didn't want to do that. And we found another guitar player. And it's like, well, I could play, but I would rather focus on singing. So.
Right.
We're going to have 2 guitar players, and I'll just focus on singing. One of the other guitar players is a fantastic singer, too. So I think we've got all those bases coming.
Okay, great. So that is TBA for now.
Yes.
But it's an exciting time. The album comes out, I want to say, there it is, May 1st, which is also Bandcamp Friday. So hopefully people support you there as well. And nice. It's an exciting time. You've got 9 songs on this album there's no filler there. There's meat on the bone, but there's no fat on the bone, if that makes any sense. You guys, you went in, your 9 killer tracks, and I'm sure you feel good about that.
I do, and I appreciate you saying that. And it was funny, the last interview I had they said exactly the same thing, no filler. And, I mentioned earlier, I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to release the songs. I didn't feel that people here in the States really bought records anymore. So I'm like, why am I going to spend the money for the manufacturing and this, that, and the other? But, with Chris having come in the band and bringing that opportunity out with Mighty Music, the European market's a little different, right? They still want, not to say nobody here in the States wants physical product, because we did get some good pre-sales from here, but the European market really demands CDs and vinyl and things like that. So, we decided just to go ahead and do the full record, and, to get to that point where it's like, we could do more songs, but is it going to make people buy the record more if I add more songs to it, or do I just put out 9 really good tracks? People seem to be totally fine with it.
Yeah. It's not. I think you're near the 40-minute mark, which is the perfect digestible amount for, I think, a modern audience today, right?
Yeah. Plus with vinyl being so huge, you really have to think about how much fits on each side.
And I was never a vinyl guy, so I always forget that. And that's why I used to ask a question, why are there bonus tracks? And now I understand why there are and why there aren't. Yeah. But you like the physical product too, though, right? Like
I do. Yeah. Even though I don't think I have a CD player in my car. I'm not sure CD players even come in cars anymore.
They did as of 2014, but that's as far back as I go. That was the last time that I bought a car, as you can tell, and it had one in there. So there we go. But
cool.
Yeah, but Mighty Music does a great job with not just the sound quality, because they do, but they take a lot of pride and care on the physical product as well. I know because I receive I used to receive the occasional goodie from one of our friends over there, but then I
Uh,
bought a ton of stuff, and the layouts and the designs are really cool. And you got a very colorful cover over here. Anything you want to say about this?
oh yeah. So our designer, our graphic artist is Skaz, who used to be our drummer for Asphalt Valentine. He does all of our graphic. He does all the stuff for Kickin Valentina. He does stuff for a lot of the bands. So this is his design. Me and him kind of working on the concept.
Yeah.
Came out with a couple things, and I was like, nah, I kind of want the sugar stool with like this butterfly effect going on. He came up with this. I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
okay, it was more colorful than I could imagine, but I was like, it's cool. So that's actually going on t-shirts. So it's gonna be
Oh, well, it's got like a loud Mardi Gras feel to it, but it does definitely encapsulate some of the chaos that you're mentioning. I did want to ask, is there a reason? Is it just because you want the visual alliteration of KK, Kissing Chaos? Is that why there's a K in
yeah,
chaos?
and I'm glad that I did it that way because after I did this band, apparently there was another band called Kissing Chaos, but spelled chaos spelled the right way. So I'm like,
Oh, okay, good.
I, I think I did the name search and it not didn't find anything, but I think it was a couple months ago. I think it was Jenny from Kickin Valentina was like, there's another band called that, and I looked him up and like they haven't done anything in like I don't know 10, 15 years or something. The name's
Yeah,
still different. I'm not worried about it. So
good.
it was just a different way to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get some alliteration there going. And I guess the thing on everyone's mind is chaos a good kisser?
well, if I imagine her like my wife, yes,
Nah.
very good.
Okay. Excellent. Well, Joe, I love the album. It's called To Your Limit. It's coming out May 1st. It's from our friends at Mighty Music and Target Group in Denmark. Are you thinking about moving to Denmark anytime soon?
I'm not moving, but we would definitely like to like to play some shows out there. So
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable here in my Atlanta home. We built a nice little area over here. We're like right by the national forest, so it's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, I'm sure if they call you over for that Nordic Noise Fest, you'll hop a plane on over there. You and Chris and the boys will do it. But
Yeah.
you made a great album, and I'm really glad to reconnect with you. And I look forward to the days when we can talk about our tour dates are XYZ, and we can do this again.
Hopefully sooner than later. Yes.
All right. Special thanks again to Joe Flynt for joining us here on Radio Radio X. His brand new album is To Your Limit. It's from his brand new band, Kissing Kaos. You heard clips of the title track, Yesterday's Kids, Breakthrough, and Hey Sugar. All of these songs are off of To Your Limit, which is available from our friends at Mighty Music starting on May 1st, which also happens to be Bandcamp Friday. A link to Kissing Kaos's page for To Your Limit is on this episode's show notes, as is a link to their Facebook page, Kissing Kaos Band. Hopefully Kissing Kaos hits the road sometime in the near future and we'll have a chance to catch up. Until then, be sure to make legitimate purchases of the music, merch, and tickets to support hardworking artists like Joe Flynt and the boys in Kissing Kaos. And head on over to RadioRadioX.com for all things music and entertainment. We've got reviews, interviews, and more coverage. I recently had the pleasure of interviewing my all-time favorite metal singer, John Bush, of Armored Saint and formerly of Anthrax, and currently also of Category 7. I also had the pleasure of interviewing his drummer in Category 7, Jason Bittner, local favorite, also plays with Shadows Fall. I also recently spoke with Troy Knorr, the singer of Them, and as the singer of Them, he is KK Fossor. I also recently spoke with Danko Jones' drummer, Rich Knox. special interview with New York jazz trumpet legend Mac Gallahan and one of his producing partners, Dave Brenner of Grid Failure, and internationally acclaimed rock singer Ronnie Romero, and more. I'd like to thank Art and Rob and everyone over there at the RadioRadioX headquarters. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and all social channels. And be sure to keep coming back to RadioRadioX.com for more updates. I've got more video interviews on the way as well. I am Justin Smulison, new contributor here at RadioRadioX. Thank you so much for tuning in. There's more on the way.